I don't know how they keep on doing it, but the Golden State Warriors once again have solidified their spot as championship contenders this year, currently being 12-5, which is second in the Western Conference. With a deep rotation, elite shooting, and a defense that looks much improved from last season, the Warriors are currently poised to make an NBA title run this year. But how are they doing it? What can they improve upon? And are there potential trades to help bolster this squad? Come with me and let's go ahead and dive in on the Warriors this season. Make sure you guys subscribe if you're new to the channel and like the video if you guys do enjoy. It really helps me out with the YouTube algorithm and I really do appreciate it. And let's go ahead and start off with something we've never seen in basketball before, especially by contender, with the 12-man rotation that Steve Kerr is currently using. Right now, there is no player averaging more than 30 minutes per game, which is absolutely insane. And obviously, it is a bold strategy, but right now it is paying off. And the big reason I think why it's paying off is because they're fresh, right? And we're looking at their defense. Last year, they were 15th in defensive rating. Right now, they're currently 4th. And I think that that's something that they have improved on, along with a lot of other things, right, which we'll get onto. But I mean, I think that by giving everyone a chance to contribute, this team has built cohesive units capable of overlasting opponents over 4 quarters, and I think that that's really why they've been so successful on the defensive side of the floor. And I mean, we're looking more in depth on the Warriors here with the potential for a new player to come in, obviously with Anthony Melton being out for the season. We're looking at someone potentially like Giannis Antetokounmpo. I know I talked about him last week with the Rockets, but there are rumors that he could potentially be added onto the Warriors. I don't think it's going to happen, but you know, like 1% chance maybe. But I really think that's something that is realistic, is the potential for someone like Kyle Lowry, you know, obviously a veteran point guard who is having a little bit of a down season this year, but I think that he could potentially be someone off the bench. I think Kyle Lowry would be a big help for this Warriors squad. Next up, let's get into the thing the Warriors are known for, their offense, right? I mean, they got sharpshooters across the board right now. They are currently 6th in the NBA in offensive rating at 116.1. They actually have 5 players shooting above 40% from deep, including Steph Curry, Andrew Wiggins, Buddy Hield, Moses Moody, and even Draymond freaking Green. I mean, that dude is not known for a shooter, and right now he's shooting, I believe, 42%, which is insane. And I mean, the Warriors right now are definitely one of the most dangerous teams here on the arc, and this is something that we've obviously seen throughout their title runs. You know, obviously right now they're shooting 38.1% as a team, which is currently 6th in the NBA, and I think this is something that's going to continue to go on as the season progresses. Let's look more in depth on the Warriors philosophy here, which is really a lot of off-ball movement and spacing, right? Their success really isn't about talent, it's more about Steve Kerr and what he brings with this coaching job, right? I mean, they get so many post touches, and this provides mismatches in the post if they want to go one-on-one. This also provides a lot of back cuts that could happen, a lot more actions that could happen, and a lot more fluidity within this offense, right? Think about, you know, San Antonio Spurs, a lot of moving, a lot of ball movement. This is something that we've really seen from the Warriors this year, and, you know, obviously in seasons past, and I think that that's why they're so good at, you know, obviously being a offensive powerhouse team, because they're getting great shots. And on top of that, when you shoot 40% on your corner threes, that's definitely a big addition that you can, you know, continue to play and just move off the ball, you know. And something else I want to look at here is actually Buddy Hield's impact. We're going to get more in depth on some of the other players, but really, Buddy Hield has been such an impactful player, right? Obviously, last year in the playoffs with the Sixers, we really didn't see him play that much, and in the games he did play, he actually did pretty well. But I mean, looking right now, he's 15.5 points per game from the bench, shooting 43% from 3, which is, you know, really good, right? And I think that his shooting gravity is forcing defenders to make tough choices, which is often leaving gaps for cutters or driving lanes. I think that Hield is really just another weapon for Steph Curry, which is kind of like what Klay Thompson brought, and I think that, you know, Buddy Hield is really just that perfect replacement for him. Moving on, let's go ahead and talk about specific players who are helping drive success. And right now, I actually do have a lot of, you know, notes here, but you guys basically know all these players. Steph Curry, right? He's gonna get his buckets, you know, even though he's not getting 30 minutes per game. Andrew Wiggins, he's actually been someone who's been very efficient this year, currently shooting over 41% from 3, which is really helping the Warriors be so successful. Draymond Green, the main thing, like we pointed out before, his shooting right now, 42.4% from 3. If he can do that for the entire season, that's going to be big for them, right? Jonathan Kuminga, he's really growing up, in my opinion. I think that he's becoming more mature, just realizing that he's going to be a bench piece for this team. And obviously, whenever he does start, that could, you know, be helpful for them. But really, I mean, what we're looking at with Kuminga before is that he kind of seemed a little bit egotistical almost, in the sense that he really just wanted to start. And I think that that was just because he was young. And now, you know, obviously he's been maturing. And I think that this is really just helpful for this Warriors squad. All right, now let's get into some areas for improvement. As we know, every team can improve. And right now, something that I'm looking at is their defensive rebounding percentage. Right now, they are currently 21st first in this stat. And I mean, obviously, this is probably an Achilles heel for them, right? Especially against bigger teams like Denver. I think that's really where we're going to see this kind of come up, especially in the playoffs, right? I mean, I think that if they can address this issue, that'd be great, right? Because you're going to limit the amount of offensive rebounds teams can get. And on top of that, if you can win the offensive rebounding battle, you're going to win the games more likely than not. And I mean, I think that if the Warriors are trying to become a championship contender, which they are right now, but if they want to become more of a contender, like somewhere on the Celtics level, if they can improve this rebounding percentage, that'd be great for them. And looking at turnovers here, this is another issue. Kind of right now they're 11th in turnover percentage at 12.4%, which is definitely something to monitor, right? This is going to be something that's big in late game situations. Right now, actually, the previous 2 games they lost to the Nets and the Spurs, and they actually lost the turnover battle, which is definitely something that you don't want to lose in games, right? So if they can improve on this, that's definitely something that's going to help them out a lot. And lastly, something I do have here is the developing of young players, really just Brandon Przemski. Right now, he's shooting 19.3% from 3, around 30% from the field. It's his second year, right? Sophomore slump happens to a lot of players. I think that if he can develop more, right, and become more consistent, then he's going to be a big help for this Warriors rotation. But once again, I think that that's just something that's out of the Warriors' control, really. Okay, now what you guys have been waiting for, really, kind of my predictions for this Warriors team going forward. I mean, I think that they're definitely a championship contender. I've kind of hinted at it in this video, right? I mean, I think their combination of depth, shooting, and defensive improvements have really helped this Warriors team. Right now, they're actually 5th in the NBA with a net rating of 7.7. And I mean, I really think that this is obviously because of the, improved depth for this Warriors squad, right? I think last year, Steve Kerr, he didn't really experiment with a 12-man rotation. And I think as we go on into the season, this is definitely going to be something that's helpful for them, right? They're going to be able to avoid bumps and bruises once we get to games, 70, 80. That's where it really matters. And I think that that's something that's going to be very important for them as the season goes on. On top of this, obviously there is some stuff that they can improve on, right? If they can have Kuminga more integrated as well as Przemski to try to get him going, right? I think that could definitely be something that we could see going into the future. On top of that, they're rebounding, right? Reducing turnovers, 2 things that we did talk about before. I think that their ceiling just absolutely increases by so much if they can improve those things. Right now, with their current pace, they have the depth, experience, and star power to go deep in the playoffs. And I mean, really the only question is if they can maintain this level of play and make the necessary adjustments when it matters most. I think that they can, right? Steve Kerr, I think that he's probably one of the best, if not the best coaches in the entire association. Look at how innovative he is with a 12-man rotation. We're not seeing that by any other team, any other coach, any other contender, right? And I mean, I think that if we just continue to see the creativity of Steve Kerr come out, I think that's going to be very beneficial for this Warriors squad. All right, y'all, and we have reached the end of this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you guys liked it, make sure you guys leave a like, subscribe. Going into the future, we're going to continue to do these team breakdowns. And thank you guys so much for last week's support on the Houston Rockets video. I really do appreciate that. I believe it's at 2,000 views, which is my most viewed video right now. And yeah, I'll see you guys next week. I hope you guys have a happy Thanksgiving. And yep, see you guys later.